It's also like it's like a statement. It's a valid statement, and it in a way it is his fault. And a lot of the time I saw Robyn being like, "Oh, the other wives were like pushing Kody onto me, and I didn't want that. I wanted the whole family, and I wanted them, and I don't want him." Which, I mean, do we see a divorce in the future?
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is, what day is it? It is Monday, April 24th, 2023. I hope you are having a wonderful day. So I just finished up a video about Meri moving to Utah and cutting off Robyn and Kody financially. And now let's talk about Robyn and how Robyn does not view herself as part of the family and has basically like alienated herself from everyone. And now Gwendlyn is starting to wonder if her dad Kody and Robyn might be on the verge of their own divorce, and giving some insight into Robyn's reactions to questions about her husband at the tell-all that she thought were interesting. Now, obviously, for fans, some people will say that Robyn is manipulative and will say things to look good and try to dismiss her role in creating division and problems in the family. And I think that Gwendlyn had some interesting things to say about this. She even called Robyn manipulative, and she also had a lot to say about the situation currently with her family and with her dad and with Robyn. Now, it's funny because last week I was watching a live stream with Mykelti and Tony, and Mykelti was adamant that Kody now is talking to all of Janelle's, or had lunch with Janelle's boys and is working on repairing his relationships with the family. And some of the kids now talk to Kody, and I think that's just the message that Kody is giving to Mykelti, and then he knows Mykelti is going to blabber it out to everyone. But from the way that it sounds on Gwendlyn's side, that's not the case. So let's dive into this topic of Robyn's cut off financially from Meri, and now they're going to have to get real jobs, and that means Robyn and Kody's marriage is still on the rocks. Before we dive into today's topic, can you please do me a big favor and give this video a thumbs up? Also, please subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed by clicking on the subscribe button down below. Please leave a comment if you have something to say. Click on the bell if you want to get notified of any time I go live and new content loads, and make sure to share this video with your friends. I have been knee deep into the AUB stuff, and you know, Gwendlyn has been admitting a lot that she doesn't really know a lot about polygamy, and oddly doesn't know a lot about her church, because obviously they moved from Utah when she was still pretty young, and she spent most of her life growing up in Vegas, which she talks about in this last video about like what it was like to grow up in Vegas and what an odd choice it was, but at the same time, like, it allowed her to be the person that she's become, which maybe has saved her from the world of the cult. And she had mentioned that before moving, the police actually showed up at the door for Kody, saying they were going to arrest him. Now, I don't know if this is true, if this is something that Kody has told her, if this is something that she's witnessed, but I thought that that was an interesting take. And then, check it out.
Because I don't know how the Dargers are still living there comfortably with like not being gotten rid of yet, because police were actually coming to our door when I was a kid and being like, you have to leave, you like, we're gonna take your dad to prison and stuff and blah blah blah. I don't know how the Dargers are doing so well, but also, like, once again, why Las Vegas? You know, why not somewhere conservative and more Mormon, like Montana or Wyoming or something? Which, like,
the interesting thing here for me is that she's like she's very like stream of thought here. She was very like engaged with this episode, and she did a lot of talking about Robyn, which we're going to get into in a minute. But when she's talking about like living in Utah and she doesn't understand how the Dargers can still live there so openly, I think the difference with the Dargers and with Kody is, one, they were on a television show. Kody's show started airing at the same time all this other crap was going on with Warren Jeffs. And by crap, I mean horrific crimes against children, against women, against even men in his culture. And there was a lot of scrutiny on polygamy as a whole. Did police show up at the Browns' house? Yes, maybe. I don't know. The investigation that they did does not prove what Gwendlyn is saying here. So I don't know if that's just like another police report that we don't know about. Um, from the police report that I read, it felt like concern that the police officers had with the situation had to do with Kody and the women profiting off of polygamy by promoting it on a television show and profiting off of criminal activity, which is illegal. You can't do that. I don't know if it's true, but it is an interesting take. This is the second child now saying that police showed up and said that they were going to take the kids. I don't know how the kids can see this. You know, it's interesting how polygamists spin it as though like the county or the state coming in to separate, it's like the parents make it feel like it's a bad thing, but when they're trying to separate, what they're doing is trying to protect the children from criminal activities and abuse. So, but the parents have it framed like we're not doing anything wrong. The kids don't know that this life is is illegal. They don't understand that their life is vastly different than what other people out in the real world are experiencing. So should Kody have been arrested? I mean, it would have been amazing, wouldn't it? We wouldn't still be here to talk about it, but alas. She got really engaged after this part, or before this part, where she talked about Robyn, really sort of setting the stage about where Robyn views herself, how Robyn sees herself in the family, and that she is not part of the family. Check it out.
Like, the more that I watch the show, the more I'm like, is Robyn gonna stay with him? You know? Because her whole goal, well, what she said her whole goal was, when you watch the show, sometimes you're like, ooh, it seems like she just wants him. But she says that what she wanted was the family, and that she wanted us all to be together from day one. And here he is, no longer with these other 3 women, and his other 17, 16, 15, 14, because Robyn has 5. There's so much math. It's terrible. I love it. With these other 13 children, she just lost. I think the whole dream of reuniting the family is so lovely and so cute. But at this point, I'm not sure if Robyn can be reunited with it. Because, like, reunite as in, like, we all live far apart and it would be awesome to have a big Christmas together again. But with Robyn, she's, like, made it very clear that she no longer sees herself, like, as a part of the family. But I'm not sure if she'll allow that to happen with her kids. So you may have known.
So when a family breaks up in polygamy, it's interesting because it happens all the time. And the people that stay or that are left, that remain faithful, frequently will shun the ones that have left and that are out for being worldly, because they don't want those worldly influences to impact the beliefs of those that are still under the control. And Kody being, I don't know where he believes, but Robyn saying that she still does believe, would probably not view herself as part of the wider family if they don't believe anymore, which is wild to me. But the fact that these children have left and the wives have left, and now Gwendlyn is saying she has made it clear that she does not view herself as a part of our family. The part that I think is weird is, even though they have their faith, and even though she's removing herself from it, and she's saying, I don't view myself as a part of this family, and I don't think this is going to get back together because we're not a part of your family. You guys are technically part of the family. Robyn, you are the legal wife of Kody. Robyn, you're a stepmother legally to all of these children. Your children are legally siblings to all of these children. You still are married to a man that has biologically had all of these children. So if you say you're not part of the family, you are then the one, in many ways, that's isolating Kody from his kids, because you're saying, I don't view myself as a part of this family. This could be Robyn feeling rejected and playing the victim. It could be her being, I'm more faithful and you guys are being disobedient. It could be Kody saying, I think that they're all disobedient and we shouldn't have a relationship with them. But this behavior by Robyn follows what she's done in the past with her other kids and her other husband, Preston, where she alienated them, alienated the family, took the kids away from them. And when things went bad, she just was like, we don't have any contact with them. So when people leave and she moves on, then she cuts people off and like they're done. But when you're the legal wife, you have a responsibility to actually like be there for your husband, to want to support the relationships of him and his kids. And if what she is saying is true, and I believe this wholeheartedly because Robyn is an isolator and her kids are isolated from everyone, I believe wholeheartedly that she is the instigator here and she is causing problems here and she is creating divisions here. And I don't like Kody by any means, but I think they both have bad traits here. And I think any woman that gets in the way of a man having relationships with his children and wants her kids and her needs to be met over everyone else's is a selfish, vindictive human being. Because her 5 children do not matter more than the other 13 kids. They just don't. And if she thinks that, she's sorely mistaken. And if she thinks that she can now pout and cry and say, well, I'm not part of the family, it feels petty. It feels like she's trying to get back at them for leaving and maybe leaving her with Kody that she apparently doesn't want, and Gwendlyn thinks they're going to get divorced. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? Robyn's the one, at least in her estimation, is the one that is keeping the family separate because she's made it clear to everyone that I am not part of this family. Who says that to their stepchildren, their legal stepchildren?
Well, yes, so much, so often. My dad and my mom actually have both expressed this before, that she's like this perfect person to talk to if you have any like things that you need to go through. And she also states that she wants us to be this huge, big family, happy family. But like in my experience, that's not true. And she doesn't feel like this perfect person to talk through your emotions. And when she says that she is, and she claims that like it's going to be like this little one-on-one, it feels, at the risk of sounding like I'm accusing her of being a bad person, it feels manipulative.
Now they're talking about like counselor Robyn, you know, like she's the one that's supposed to fix everything and she's the best communicator. That's what Kody says. And it's obviously not the truth. And Gwendlyn says that she has found it to be very manipulative when she does talk to Robyn because she feels like it's sort of this implication that Robyn is actually not doing anything to actually help. She's doing it to meddle, to manipulate, and to get what she wants, to probably plant seeds, to give directions and ideas about resolving things that would benefit her. She's very coercive, she's very sneaky, and she's probably trying to glean information from people so that she can use that to meet whatever it is goal that she wants. You know, for over a decade, we saw a woman that said, I want the family, but that never happened. We never saw any of the behavior match that. We never saw her engage in meaningful ways. We never saw her do things with the kids. We never saw her encourage things. She would say she's encouraging things. She would say she's trying to mediate things. But when she would mediate, like even in this last season, she was letting Kody scream and yell at Janelle. Scream and yell. And she wanted Janelle to just sit there and take it. And then she got mad at Janelle for like walking off. And then she says, well, if Kody doesn't yell anymore, will you stay? No, you need to stay and listen to this. Like, she's a woman that says that she doesn't like abuse, and yet she's watching him verbally abuse people. Those two statements don't match up. If you are against abuse, you would be against his behavior here. Also, if you're against a man being abusive and being verbally abusive and speaking down to people, and you say that that's how it was in your last marriage, why would you be okay co-signing that kind of behavior to a sister wife? Well, because if he does it to a sister wife and then you can kiss his ass and look like the good wife that's submissive and gives him what he needs and plays his game, then you get the money, you get the house, you get your kids' needs met. To me, what Robyn has been doing for years is trying to survive in a situation where she's the fourth wife. She doesn't want to be the last wife. Fourth wives do not have the same privileges as first wives. First wives have so much more legal pull because usually they're the legal wife, but they also have pull in that they started the family and it's their decision on really who can come into the family, because they're the first legal wife, and usually the one that's come, the partnership of the family started with that first wife. By the time the fourth wife comes in, it's really just another plaything for dad. It's so Robyn had to find a way to exert her control to get the status that she wanted, which was to be what Mary was. She didn't want to be the fourth wife. She wanted to be the fourth wife because it meant she could get to heaven. She wanted the benefits of going to the celestial kingdom in her beliefs. But she didn't like the fact that the fourth wife has to share the resources, doesn't have a say, doesn't have the same pull, doesn't have the same seniority. And she's also the woman that came into a family and knew full well that he had commitments and claimed that she liked the fact that he had these commitments. But then as soon as she got into the family, was like, quit her job, didn't go look to find employment, was claiming to help around with the kids, but ended up getting a nanny, convinced Mary not to go back to school, convinced Janelle to give up on her gym business, convinced all of them to do her business, which was selling crappy, ugly jewelry, convincing them to move to, Arizona, convincing them that they had to adopt the children, convincing Mary that Mary had to divorce him. And yet all of it is looking like she had nothing to do with any of it, because she's behind the scenes, like pulling all of the strings and getting what she needs to get what she wants. Kody might be the master gaslighter and have a volatile temper and be like a complete narcissist, but she is also, in my opinion, very narcissistic, because she's only out for number one. Her empathy is fake. Her concern and care is unreal. It's fake. It's preservation. And Gwendlyn has said it was self-preservation, and I agree. But what I think about this whole situation at the end of the day is that now that Robyn has all that she wanted, and she got the legal status, and she got her kids adopted, and she meddled so much so that she ended up creating such consternation with the other wives, because Kody just ended up neglecting everything else because she was giving him everything that he needed. And Kody finally was getting his ego and his fuel and his supply that he was desperately craving. And she knew that as long as she did that, she would get what she wanted. Is she as diabolical or more diabolical than Kody? You know what I'm saying here? And now that everyone is gone, still saying there's no way that we can rectify this. We're probably not going to get back together because I don't see myself as part of the family anymore. So she's proving, even after the fact, that she didn't want the family and she only wanted the man. But now that she has the man, she's saying, well, they didn't want him anyway, and I didn't want this, and this isn't what I chose. Because to me, that's about her saving face so that she doesn't look like she's the manipulator. I don't think Kody and Robyn's relationship has ever been based on love. I think it's been based on opportunities for both of them. But I think it's good to see the kids waking up and seeing that like Robyn was manipulating things, Robyn is instigating things. And now it's just sad that even if Kody wanted to get back with his kids, it doesn't seem like his wife would be supportive of that. I'm not a stepmom, and I've never been divorced. I've never had to deal with having a split family. My parents never divorced. But I will say that if I were in this position, and if I had a husband that had family, that had children, I would never want to get in the way of that. Conversely, I know factually that I would never want to get in the way of my husband having a relationship with his family. I would never want him to not see his dad or see his siblings. I would never want him to feel like he couldn't have relationships just because of me. Yes, in a marriage, you're a partnership, but you should also want the happiness for the both of you. You should want the good for both. You should want to support and love each other. And for Kody, is it really good for him to be alienated from all his other kids? No. I don't like Kody, but I can see how Robyn has created such division in this family and has really alienated Kody from his kids. And I can see how that Kody getting his fueled supply from her was blindsided and very ignorant to what was going on because he was getting his narcissistic needs met, not even realizing that at the same time he's getting played. Robyn doesn't see herself as the family in the family anymore. So what does that mean? Does that mean that Robyn will leave Kody? Is there a divorce on the horizons? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.